Okay, I'm live. The title of this uh, video is my top shows and movies of 2020. Top shows and movies of 2020. All right, I have some lists on my computer in front of me and some IMDb pages just so that I can read the uh, the short blurb of each of these shows, and then I'll just give you some opinions off the top of my head. No planning, that's all I have. List of shows, IMDb pages. The rest are just my over the top of my head feelings about those shows. I'll talk about the shows in terms of that they were um, um, how they grabbed me emotionally, whether I was emotionally involved with the show or movie, whether I was or as opposed to if I was intellectually involved in terms of I knew it was a good show, but I didn't. It didn't really touch me here. I didn't vibe with the show because there are many good shows that are made well, but you don't vibe with them. I'm very thirsty, so since this is live, I cannot I cannot end it. I'm gonna post. I'm gonna save this post on YouTube and post it on IGTV. You know, the long one. So I'm just gonna grab the phone and walk over, get myself some water while I'm doing this good thing. I have water in the jug right here, so it shouldn't take too long. Grab my water and I should be back at it. All right, that was good. Good thing I don't work for the New York Times or something. All right. Alrighty. First show on the road is a show called Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet. Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet. In the short blurb from IMDb, the owner of a successful video game design company and his troubled staff struggle to keep their hit game Mythic Quest on top. This is a show that was created by Rob McElhenney. If you know his very long running show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia on AMC. This particular show, Mythic Quest, is by Apple, and I just thought about another show that I want to talk about from Apple. Um, it's a show about video games. When I saw maybe the trailer, I thought he's going from very low budget. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and they kept It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia purposefully low budget looking because that's how they started and that's how the audience liked it. It's like a no nonsense show or pretty much a very nonsense show because keep it light and they improvise a lot and they keep it very cheap. The I don't talk about it. It's Always Sunny. So, but Mythic Quest is the opposite. Apple is one of the most successful companies of all time, one of the richest. They are a $2 trillion company right now. So they have a lot of money to throw at shows. But not just a lot of money to throw at shows, a lot of money to throw at talent so they can get the best talent. So Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet is a very expensive looking show, high production values. The music is great. The the transitions when they show a video, a short 5 second to 10 second, no, it's more like 5 second video game transition is amazing, and the music that accompanies those video game scenes is absolutely amazing, and the quality of the game are very great. It's like a behind the scenes of the people that work at a video game company, and it's so freaking good. It's so funny. Every line means something. There's no wasted line. That's what I noticed about that show. Every line means something. There's no fat. The other show I'm going to talk about, there's a lot of fat. A lot of fat. It's very verbose. This one is not verbose. They get straight to the point. But when you watch this show, don't think this is how video game companies are. They're not all chaotic and people insulting one another with love. It's a show that has no cynicism. People work together. They might not like each other all the time, but there's no cynicism. There's no bad blood. There's no negativity like it should. Show I stopped watching because of negativity. Silicon Valley on HBO. I stopped watching that. I even tweeted at them. I said, I stopped watching the show because you know. So I think I tweeted to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which was Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Did we have a season this year? Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Did we have a season this year? Let's find out. That was season 7. Yep, season 7, February 6th to April 23rd, 2020. So I'm gonna add that to the list. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Well, this might be a very long show, by the way. So, but I'm gonna take my time. You guys can pause and play. Whenever you want to. Fox. All right. So Mythic Quest, Mythic Quest Ravens Banquet is like behind the scenes of people that make video games, and it's all these different personalities and personalities bumping into each other. Not just personalities, but roles, and how many people in the company, or some of them, are not suited for the role, but but they got the role anyway, and how some of them who are suited, some of them are way suited for the role that they know how to control others because of that role that they are at in the company. And it's a comedy. It's really exceptionally good. It's only 8 episodes from what I'm seeing. Let me click on it. Only 10 episodes. Oh well, 9 episodes. Then 1 quarantine episode, which they shot during the quarantine, and it's fantastic. It's very emotional. In terms of someone working at home, in front of the computer, and being depressed and sad because she lives alone, and how the head of the company thought maybe there was something wrong, and eventually he went to see her, give her a hug. It was very, very cathartic, because we were all kind of dealing with this thing that we haven't dealt with in our lives before. So that was great. So that's one of my favorite shows. I rewatched it, and a mark of something that I like is when I rewatch it over and over again. That's how you know that it grabbed me emotionally. And Mythic Quest Ravens Banquet is fantastic. If you bought a computer this year from Apple, or any Apple device like this one was bought this year, you will get a year of Apple TV for free. Not Apple TV the device, but Apple TV the subscription to watch shows and movies and so forth. You get that for a whole year, which is pretty generous of them. But it's also a way for them to acquire customers, so it makes sense. So that's Mythic Quest Ravens Banquet. I highly recommend that. Another show from Apple is called See. The show is called See, and I'll read the summary from IMDb. Far in a dystopian future, the human race has lost the sense of sight, and society has had to find new ways to interact, build, hunt, and to survive. All of that is challenged when a set of twins is born with sight. I feel like that was a spoiler, that set of twins born with sight, because you don't find out until, was it the first or second episode? I can't remember. How many episodes? I believe 8. Yes, 8. This is another show by Apple. It was created by Francis Lawrence, who made TV series. Who made give me a second here. But it was created by someone called Stephen Knight, but Francis Lawrence pretty much, well, he directed some of the episodes. Only the first three. So he set the tone production wise of the show. Francis Lawrence did the Hunger Games series. I think, did he do all 3? Yeah, he did 3 or 4 of them, so he did most of them. So See is ironic because pretty much everybody on the show is blind except for the twins that were born. And they were born with sight because their father could see. But that's a little bit of a spoiler, but it's not going to kill anything. You don't even know who the father is, blah blah blah. You don't know whether they have a, you know, at the beginning of the show they let you know that Jason Momoa was not the father, but he's not the blood father, but he took the position of father anyway. And there's a kind of religion in this show. It's more of religious zealots. You know, the religious zealots, they take it that if you can see, it's some kind of blasphemy or some kind of witch doctory. They call it a witch doctor to people that can see. And you think this lack of sight is a handicap, but those that cannot see, they are better fighters than those that can see. Then again, how many people can see anyway? But those that cannot, there's a lot of fight scenes, a lot of battle scenes. So I was talking about, there's a lot of battle scenes. Yet it's almost as if sight is no problem because their hearing is very very attuned, and it's an amazing show. You can see all the money that I put through at this show with the costuming, and the landscape. They're mostly in the woods. There's a whole travel. There's a whole relocation of the people to another place. It's I don't want to describe it more, but I highly recommend it. Again, if you have the Apple subscription, you bought maybe an iPad or an iPhone this year, or a MacBook, you'll get the 1 year for free. Otherwise, pay for it. I think it's worth it. So those might be the only two things I will talk about from Apple. I believe I'm looking at my list, and yeah, those are the only two shows from Apple. I saw some other movies, but nothing grabbed me like those two. I want to talk about The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is from Disney. Mandalorian. Do I have it? I feel like I have it out here. The Mandalorian. I wonder what how they described The Mandalorian. I will describe it as okay. Before I look at IMDb, I'll describe it as the adventures of one man called the Mandalorian. He's a helmet. He's a man that wears a helmet. And it's his adventure. I started watching. I did not watch season 2. Sorry, I did not watch season 1 before I watched season 2. Season 2 was this year. I believe season 1 was last year. I believe it launched with the launch of Disney Plus. It's a Star Wars show, and since Disney acquired Star Wars for $4 billion way back in like 2015 or something, so it's a Star Wars show but under the Disney umbrella. So this year it's his adventure of him. He met a child. They call it the child. The world knows it as Baby Yoda, and it's his adventure transporting the Baby Yoda from place to place. He has missions from here to there. Every episode is like a mission, and so that's what I believe. But let's see what IMDb says. IMDb says, the travels of a lone bounty hunter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. Yep, it's his travel. It's a travel show. It's an adventure show. It's exceptionally good. What I love about The Mandalorian is the very simple, short sentences that each character says. It's easy to understand. It has a point. I don't understand what they're talking about. It's very easy to understand, but it's not dumbed down. It's a perfect mix of easy to understand but not dumbed down. And they don't have long speeches. They say, I want to go do this. You'll come with me. Yes. Okay, let's go do this. And they do it. End of episode. And the music by Ludwig Göransson, who is one of my favorite composers today. He scored all of Ryan Coogler's movies, including Creed and Black Panther. And he has a long musical career with other people. Trying to remember with Childish Gambino and a whole lot of other people. And I bought the track because the track is always, it's so memorable, and that's how to me that's one of the tenets which is going to come up in this show. One of the tenets of a good soundtrack is when it's memorable and you keep playing it in your mind even after the show is over. So The Mandalorian, I knew when it was released last year, season one, but for some reason it didn't grab me. I never watched an episode, but from the trailers, I don't know why it didn't grab me. And I said, you know what, let me just give it a try. And I was very, very, very pleasantly surprised. And it's fantastic. They bring in very popular directors to direct many episodes. Um, let me open. Let me open. Wikipedia to see the directors. Jon Favreau created the series, so he's directed. Has he even directed any? Okay, it's funny. He didn't direct anything from season one, which is weird. But he's written most of the episodes in season one and season two. But he directed season two, episode one, and then it's funny. This year, I know all the directors. I know all of them. In fact, every single director on season one and season two, I know all of them. Dave Filoni is a long-term guardian of the Star Wars series. Rick Famuyiwa, who is Nigerian British, I think, or Nigerian American. He was going to direct, I think, The Flash for DC, but those plans fell out. So I guess now he's with Star Wars slash Disney, which is also the parent of Marvel. So he jumped ship. Deborah Chow, I've forgotten who Deborah Chow is. Bryce Dallas Howard, the daughter of Ron Howard. Taika Waititi, who directed Thor Ragnarok. Peyton Reed, who directed Ant-Man and the sequel. That's not the name of the Ant-Man, and then he also directed the sequel. Carl Weathers, who is also in the cast, directed one episode. Oops. Bryce Dallas Howard also came in to direct another one in season two. Robert Rodriguez, Spy Kids, and a whole lot of other movies. And he always talks about how you should be creative and do the low budget stuff. Hello, Fisayo Adekbetu. Thanks for joining. I'm doing my top shows and movies of 2020. I'm currently talking about The Mandalorian. I don't know if you've seen it or if you're interested in The Mandalorian. So, what's interesting about The Mandalorian is anytime I watch one episode, I think, oh my god, that's my favorite episode. Each subsequent episode, I keep saying that's my favorite episode. And many people also say that, so that lets you know that this show gets better as it goes along. So that's The Mandalorian. Next, and you can watch that on Disney Plus. The next thing I want to talk about is Dave. What can I say about Dave? It's a show on Hulu. The IMDb summary says a neurotic mid-20s suburbanite is convinced he's destined to be one of the greatest rappers of all time. Now he's got to prove it to everyone else. I think that's true. I think that's a perfect a description of the show. It's created by Dave Bird and Jeff Schaffer. Jeff Schaffer did The League. It's a show about fantasy football. And Dave Bird also stars. He's popularly known as Lil Dicky. He's a rapper. He got started on YouTube in real life. And his very first video, before he posted it, he told his family that he wants to quit his job in, I think, marketing, and wants to do become a rapper. And everybody in his family said, "Don't do it. You're gonna screw up your career, your career at the office." And he said, "No, I'll do it." And he did it. First video made over 1 million views within 24 hours. And his music videos are one of the most viewed of all time. I think the one with Chris Brown has like 600 million views. There's another one with him in bed with a girl, and like visual effects stuff happening around, has like a lot of hundreds of millions of views, and is considered one of the most expensive music videos of all time. All I know is that his videos have more views than Michael Jackson, if you can believe that. So I remember the very first episode of the show is him at the doctor's office, sitting down on the bed, waiting for the doctor. And as the doctor came in, he described that he has some kind of birth malfunction with his, or birth defect with his penis, and he's describing to the doctor in a very confident way, very very confident way, and it reminded me of a book that I read with Malcolm Gladwell, and I don't remember which of the books, but I know that Malcolm Gladwell was distinguishing the difference between people who are born in suburbia and people who are born in poorer areas in the United States. And and he talked about how those who and let's say kids from those areas go to the doctor, those born in suburbia are more confident to talk to the doctors, and those born in the poorer areas, when they go to the doctor's office, they succumb to what the doctor says, and they just listen and do exactly what the doctor says, which is probably not the best way. You should sometimes challenge or do your own research and go tap to tap with the doctor. But since Dave was born in suburbia, which is what they wrote there, um, uh, and Dave is white, by the way, white and Jewish, yeah. So he's like the anti-look of a rapper, and by the way, he turned out to be one of the greatest rappers, in my opinion, and in many people's opinions, with the hundreds of millions of views in each video. And by the way, so he spoke up to the doctor, and it was a good introduction to the show. And in the show, he knows that he has to ingrain himself in black culture, which he already is. Not really black culture, but I mean, rapping is mostly black culture anyway. So he's an outsider, but doesn't look like, or doesn't seem like an outsider, you know, if that makes any sense. It's a great show. And the final episode, episode 10, is like a great crescendo. Is a great mic drop to the entire series. It's really great. It's really great. It grabbed me emotionally when I saw it for the first time. I watched it over and over and over again. I couldn't stop. Um, yeah. So Dave, and it's on Hulu. Hulu. Let us talk about Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. This time around, let's see what Wikipedia says about Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Let's see the series overview. Usually, the series overviews are longer. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Let's see, what are they saying? Yeah, they're usually longer. Yeah. Okay. Set in the fictional 99th precinct of the New York City Police Department in Brooklyn, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Nine-Nine is the 99th precinct. Oh, they said it. It follows a team of detectives headed by the overly serious, newly appointed Captain Raymond Holt, and the detectives, including Jack Peralta, who has a high rate of successful arrests and solved cases in spite of his relaxed, carefree, and at all times childish attitude. And so on. Hilarity ensues. Various characters are mixed together. He eventually likes Amy Santiago, who is a lovable by the book, type A personality, and many different characters. The thing about this show is the positivity. Now, when I say positivity, it doesn't mean that the characters don't bump into each other in a comedic way. They do, but they do it with love. There's no cynicism. It's so positive, and it's filled with love. So filled with love that NBC, Fox. It was a show on Fox for the first like 5 seasons, and for some reason Fox canceled it. It didn't make any sense to viewers, and the fans revolted. They said, "No, we don't want this show to be canceled. We love this show. Don't Why are you canceling it?" And then NBC picked it up for the 6th season, and it's still going on. It's still going strong. This year there was a lot of Black Lives Matter protests, and I heard that that Brooklyn Nine-Nine is gonna imbibe that into the show, because they are a police show and they arrest people. I haven't noticed any racism on the show, but they said they will include it they'll include that whole plot, or that whole sensitivity thing in season 8 going forward, and I look forward to it. I've rewatched every episode so many times. It's insane, especially the fact that there's like 20 to 24. How many? Yeah, 23 episodes each for the first 5 seasons, then 18 episodes season 6, 13 episodes for season 7, and it's a great show. It's really funny. It's very fast paced. My only criticism is that, my criticism is a feature, not a bug for the show, meaning it was purposefully done. It's very, very fast paced. Very, very, very fast. They talk very fast, they edit very quickly, and I like a more relaxed thing, but that's the reason. Okay, I'm charging my phone at the same time, so that's why it's been hinged on this lightning. So I've taken it off, and I'll do it this way. All right. So that's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's now on NBC, formerly on Fox, and it's a great show. The Boys. The Boys. The name of the show is The Boys. It's on Amazon. The Boys is like the opposite of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's a rated R show. The title, the IMDb summary is: a group of vigilantes set out to take down corrupt superheroes who abuse their superpowers. That's perfect. The vigilantes are normal human beings, and the superheroes are, most of them are, most of them cannot die by bullets, and they have many other different powers. It's very, very, very rated R because of the violence. I don't think there's much in the way of there's no nudity. I don't think there's no nudity, but there are sexual acts, but where you don't see anything, it's just suggested, and but the rated R is because of the violence, and they use F words. They use rated R words, but it's exceptional. It was created by Seth Rogen and his pals. And this Seth Rogen, man, the guy looks like a pothead when he's on TV shows or when he's on interviews. But this guy is amazing. He's a producer like none other. It's based on a comic book series. And Evan Goldberg and many other people. It's exceptional. It's really, really exceptional. It wasn't all at one time. It was not released at once. It was released one after the other, and it gave us time to talk amongst ourselves online. The watchers, and it was great. It's a great show. It's a superhero show, so there are lots of superpowers that are very inventive. Some of them are the same ones that you see all the time. Superman. There's a Superman type character. There's a Flash type character. There's a Wonder Woman type character. The show started. The comic book started off like a copycat version of the regular Superman, Spider-Man, Flash. There's no Spider-Man character, and so for Aquaman, but because of the rated R part and that it can do things that you cannot do on PG-13, I guess it carved an edge. Yeah. So it's great. It's on Amazon Prime Video. I think Amazon Video used to be called Amazon Video. Now it's called Amazon Prime Video because it comes with your Prime membership. I'm gonna have to take a break, and then I would record part 2, and see you then.